Welcome back to the Movie Draft House. I'm your host, Mark, joined by Jeff and his cat.
My cat, look on the camera right here. Here she is. She's causing problems this morning.
Bruno Mars has a song where he says, "Here, kitty, kitty. Here, kitty, kitty." However, he's not talking about a feline.
He's talking about yeah.
He's talking about pussy.
Yeah, hey, Mark.
Hey.
What's the theme this month?
Oh, the theme this month, like it is in every other month this year, the year of our Lord 2025, we're reviewing films that have 1 degree of separation from the previous week's film. That could be an actor, a writer, a director. Pretty much. That's pretty much it. But so would you like to run it down for us, Jeff? How we got to this moment in time?
This moment in time.
Yeah.
Here we go. You should probably start putting timestamps in for people to skip this horse shit. We ended the year last year watching A Simple Favor starring Anna Kendrick, who was also in Life After Beth, which starred Paul Reiser, who was in Whiplash, which starred Miles Teller, who was in Top Gun Maverick, which was written by Peter Craig, who also wrote Gladiator II, which starred Pedro Pascal as the penis collector in the film Drive Away Dolls, which starred Margaret Qualley, who was in The Substance, which starred Demi Moore, who was in Indecent Proposal alongside Billy Bob Thornton, who was in Armageddon alongside Peter Stormare and Steve Buscemi. They were both also in Fargo, along with Frances McDormand, who was in 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, alongside who the fuck was in that? Was that
Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell, who was in 7 Psychopaths alongside Colin Farrell, who was in Saving Miss Banks, which had Tom Hanks in Dragnet, and which had Christopher Plummer, that's the latest one, who was in this week's film, again, put some timestamps in because that's got to be painful to listen to, who was in Inside Man from 2006, directed by Spike Lee, starring Denzel Washington, Clive Owen, Jodie Foster, the aforementioned Christopher Plummer, Chiwetel Ejiofor. I'm just gonna
that sounded really good.
I mean, Ejiofor, I feel confident in.
Yeah.
And Willem Dafoe. It is a heist flick that runs for about 2 hours and 9 minutes, and it would have been a great pick for Heist Month several months ago.
Yeah.
So, had you seen this? You picked it.
Yeah,
had you seen it?
I have seen it. I want to say I've seen it multiple times previous to this, but I'm not quite sure.
I've at least seen it twice.
Yeah. But it's been a while since I've seen this movie, and so there's a lot that I did not remember. There was story beats. I remembered the plot, and I remember Clive Owen.
The little twist at the end.
Yeah, but for a lot of it, and I remembered it being your unconventional heist film, because yes, the plot of these guys go in to rob this bank is straightforward. However, why they're robbing the bank, what they're after, how they do it is not something that is portrayed too much in film that I've seen. And so in that regard, it's a smart heist film. I am a lukewarm Spike Lee fan, and so I'm interested to get your thoughts on whether you're a Spike Lee fan. I think we've discussed it because we've reviewed a Spike Lee film before, but whether you're a Spike Lee fan and what you thought about this one.
I'm trying to think of how many Spike Lee films I've actually seen. I mean, obviously I've seen He Got Game because we reviewed it here on the podcast, and now I've seen Inside Man several times before.
Well, I mean,
but
the Five Bloods. I think you said you've seen that one.
no,
No?
I haven't seen.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I've seen really much of his work. He is on the short list of directors we are planning to do a chronological season on. But I haven't seen Do the Right Thing. She's Got to Have It, Jungle Fever, Malcolm X, like his big.
No, he's probably a blind spot for you then.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Like I do want to watch like Black Klansman. So I'm more familiar with his antics in the NBA than than anything else, I guess.
Yeah, he's an avid New York Mets fan.
Mets.
Well, he probably is a Mets
fan,
but he's an avid New York Knicks fan. I'm sorry.
There you go.
But no. So like this one. So watching this film with a critical lens, and I'm a huge Denzel Washington fan. I love Denzel. I don't know if I've ever met anybody that says they don't like Denzel.
Well, today's your. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm also a big Clive Owen fan. I really enjoy Clive Owen on screen. I think
I've seen as many Clive Owen films as I have Spike Lee films.
Yeah, it's interesting because he's kind of dropped off the Hollywood radar in the past.
Yeah, and it didn't
5
seem
years?
like for any reason really. I mean, because Children of Men was a huge hit, which I have not seen.
Yeah.
Which was on my short list for our next film, but I was like, that feels a bit heavy for me. I don't know if I want to do that.
I would be down. No, it's just Clive Owen is he was, and I think Children of Men kind of put him out there and how just how good that film was, and so he made a lot of notoriety and built probably the main core of his filmography off of that film. But I just haven't seen, like, he hasn't been around too much since the late 2010s, and I just don't know why. I think he's a good actor. I really enjoy his performances in the movies that I've seen him in, and this one's no different. I really enjoy him. He's got this he's got this thick, it's a British accent, I think, right? That's
it didn't give off any vibes of anything. Yeah, I'll just go with British.
Yeah. It's probably so like Westminster Abbey British or some shit, but I mean it's thick, and he's kind of this tall. He's a tall guy, I think. And so like there's moments in this film where he spends downtime having a conversation, and like I really like how he comes across in his acting. It never seems strained. He never gets real elevated. At least I haven't seen him in any of the roles I've seen.
Certainly not in this. He's very much calm and in control the whole time.
Right. And I think that suits him as an actor, is because he just has that kind of demeanor about him. And so I really enjoyed him, and Denzel. I mean, we get like this is 2006, right? 2006.
Yes.
I mean, it's not super young Denzel, but it's not today's Denzel. I mean, he's very much in the prime of his career in this film, and he is that slick talking guy that we know Denzel Washington portrays in just about every film that he is, and I really liked his dynamic with everybody. Is because he's also a character that is very much in control throughout, even though
not in this movie.
Well, no, but I feel like he's trying to solve this crime, but it never seems like he's stumped or defeated. No, there's one scene where Spike Lee's camera work takes a very drastic change.
I hated it.
Did you really?
Hated it.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get into that, but
we're talking about that. No, not his camera work throughout the film, but if we're talking about the same scene where he's clearly, it's like he's not steady. Like you can see the thing he's on, almost like running over rocks and stones. While it's trying to do this
it's the
dramatic.
Right. It's the scene that right after we think that they killed a hostage, and Denzel leaves the command post trailer, and you can clearly tell. I mean, you don't see it, but he gets on a moving cart trailer, whatever it
Ollie or
is,
something.
and something's pulling him, and he's just standing on it, and it's such a drastic change in cinematography and how the camera sees a character, and it's meant to. I think that is meant to symbolize it's the first time that Denzel feels out of control. Like it's the first time he's lost in this kind of battle of wits with Clive Owen's character. And I really enjoyed that, is because throughout the rest of the film, these two dudes are two guys that feel like they're in control of everything that's going on. And in that moment, I felt like Denzel portrayed that, oh shit, I don't know what to do now. And it was an interesting choice, is because it's the only scene in the film that's shot like that. And so,
Which is what threw me too, because it is this weird artistic choice
Sure.
in the middle of a film that's shot pretty straight.
yeah, no, 100%.
And it wasn't done well. Like,
oh, see,
I felt like, because the thing that threw me off is he's clearly on like a dolly or
Yeah.
something, and
But
it's not steady, and it's like, brrr, and it just kind of looked bad to me. So that shot made me laugh more than pulled me into the emotion that the character was feeling. Because there's also the problem of, in that moment when he's on the dolly, his face is stoic.
yeah,
And then he gets to the door and he's in a rage,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so it didn't even really, to me, reflect the emotion of the character. I found it to be a weird artistic choice that felt out of place to me.
I mean, I understand that. But I also think that, like, in that scene where he's on the dolly and it's pulling him towards the door of the bank, that stoic, he is deciding how he's going to channel the rage that we then see him take out on the door and Clive Owen through the door. And I don't know. I mean, I thought it was one, it was unique for the movie. Two, it was kind of out of left field, where I was like, oh, this is different. And it's not just any character, it's Denzel Washington. And so I think if it had been Clive Owen, it wouldn't have been the same, is because we just don't get to see Clive Owen's face too much in this film. And so I really liked the choice by Spike Lee here. I mean, we should get into the plot of, Denzel and Ejiofor. I'm not going to try to say his
Nailed
it. Are two relatively new detectives, homicide robbery detectives, and they get put on this bank robbery by Clive Owen and his group are robbing this bank, and we don't really know why until later on in the film. And they go in with painter's attire, and then they make everybody in the bank, the hostages, put on the same clothing, which is, it's not out of... That's not a choice that hasn't been done in film, I don't think.
Is it?
I mean, I don't know, but I would.
This is the movie I think of where they do that. The heist is, they've mixed the heisties in with the heisted.
And maybe it is. Maybe I'm just not.
Or the heisters? I don't know. But yeah, this is the only one I can think of. I'm not saying you're wrong, but
Right.
I just can't think of the alternative.
Right. And so throughout the film, they're Clive Owen makes some demands about, hey, give me a plane, and however much money, and I want it in so much time, and and Clive Owen knows that it's going to take time, or they're not going to give it to him, and essentially he's just wasting. He's wasting time.
He's forcing them to stall,
right?
In a way, because he needs as much time as possible.
And so then we get Christopher Plummer, who owns the bank, and he's got a safety deposit box in the bank that has secrets in it, and he hires Jodie Foster's character, who is kind of this fixer-esque person.
Fixer's a good word.
Yeah. She just people hire her when they have problems, and she solves them. And she's probably more diplomatic about solving the problems than she is by forcing, the straight.
She uses either blackmail or bribery,
right?
Usually,
and we see that
kind of get her way.
And we see that she's very connected in the city of New York, with the mayor and people at the police department and all this. And so she's powerful, and she figures out what's in the safety deposit box, which this is where the kind of the story just kind of I have problems with it, is because why am I meant to care about a ring?
And this is I agree. It feels like they needed this subplot to make the bank robbers not the bad guys.
Right.
And because they wanted, I think Spike Lee wanted a movie, or the writer, whoever, where you kind of rooted for these interesting bank robbers.
Yeah.
And by making the Christopher Plummer the end bad guy, so to speak, or essentially making him worse than the bank robbers, that allows you to kind of think this group is cool, but I still think the bank robbers are bad. They beat the shit out of people, force them to disrobe. They're just not murderers, I think they don't cross that line, right?
Yeah. And for me, we don't get enough time with Christopher Plummer to really regard him as a bad guy.
It's a subplot that I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's one thing for you just to assume he's a bad guy because he owns a bank, and he probably owned a bank or got to own a bank by doing some shady shit in his life. But I just I didn't really care about what the safety deposit box held when I found out it was a fucking ring. And
it was the papers that show he had dealing with the Nazis to make his fortune and stuff like that.
That to me that just doesn't resonate, right? I mean, we live in a time where that shit's happening. Watching this now, that part of the plot, I was just like, oh, that's kind of a bummer. I wanted him to be more overtly bad, and we never got it. And I wanted Jodie Foster. I mean, she's morally corrupt, but she's just kind of in it for her. Hey, this person paid me a lot of money. I'm going to do my job, and then I'm going to go to the next. And I wanted to see, and we kind of got some of that, but I never felt like she was this opposing force to Denzel or Clive Owen. I mean, this movie is Clive Owen and Denzel Washington, and even then, we don't really get enough time with Clive Owen to really digest why he's doing what he's doing. The one
he doesn't like this Nazi guy, but also they do steal a buttload of diamonds,
right? And I just, but they stole it from a bad guy. So like, how
Right.
bad are they? Right.
Well, they've held people at gunpoint, beat up the bank manager. They're still bad people.
Sure. But like, how bad are they? And that's what's lost,
Yeah.
I think, in this movie is that like, there's just no clear, and maybe that's the point. I don't know. There's just no clear bad guy. By the end of the movie, we're meant to maybe kind of sympathize with the robbers, Clive Owen's group, and our attention's turned to Christopher Plummer, who we're like, oh, Nazi guy, yes. But even then, I'm just like, oh, we didn't get enough with you for me to actually really care about you being this bad guy. I didn't like Jodie Foster as the character, but she served a purpose and she was good at her job. And so, like, there was no clear villain here. Or I shouldn't say clear. There was just no overarching villain. And
I think the best parts of the movie are the chess game between Denzel and Clive Owen.
Sure.
And that does make the movie entertaining enough to keep going. But you're right. There is something that's off in the balance in the movie.
Yeah. And even throughout most of the movie, we get this kind of subplot that Denzel may not be a straight good guy either. And, because he's got this IAB, Internal Affairs Bureau, investigation that's taking place where he may have stolen $100 and some odd $1,000. And like he says he's innocent, but we as the audience don't know that until later on in the film. And then, so like, even then, we're just kind of like, hey, Denzel's reputation as an actor kind of leads me to believe that he's probably not the bad guy here. But at the same time, we're kind of caught in this, hey, he's portraying this good guy. He's on this case as a police officer. So inherently we think he's okay. And we're just going to kind of see where this goes. I just didn't like that choice and how that subplot just was kind of there. It was just kind of like, it wasn't really there for any reason either. Until maybe the end of the film where, he discovers this one singular diamond in his coat pocket. And he kind of has the smile on his face.
Well, and it took me, and I'm just now realizing why the diamond is there more than just, hey, this guy put the diamond there. I think Clive Owen gave him a gift because Denzel's also talking a bunch about buying a ring for his girlfriend.
Right. Yeah.
And so I think Clive Owen gave him that as, here's the stone so that you can go make this a ring.
Right. But then if that's the case, then that makes me wonder, does Denzel go and do it? Or does does he turn the diamond into
No.
Right.
No.
So like
No.
there's real no morally in this film.
Well, everybody, even so, like the cops, they're racist.
Right.
Like,
right.
the not all of them, but the ones that have speaking lines.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there is some gray area to every character, maybe other than Ojafor's character.
Yeah,
but
they're not exactly great cops. Like in that, their interviewing style pissed me off. But I mean, it is something that happens. I don't think their interviewing style when they're interviewing all the different people.
Well, I mean, I think that's they don't know who's involved, and so they're just establishing rapport with everybody, and then being like, "Did you rob the bank?"
Yeah,
and then people are like, "No," but I don't know. Spike Lee's storytelling is not for everybody, and and this is, I think, another film where his storytelling and how much threads he actually has that he wants to tell. I mean, this movie is for sure about corruption. It's for sure about, how did the wealthy old people in our society make their wealth, right? It's a story about essentially Robin Hood stealing from the rich and giving to the poor because
Did they give to the poor?
Well, I mean,
Pretty sure they kept that money for themselves.
they gave Denzel
They gave him one diamond.
one diamond. Who knows how much that diamond is worth? But I mean, pretty big diamond.
Are you familiar with how the value of diamonds is inflated based on the people because diamonds aren't that rare,
Right.
and the manufacturers or the people who go find them, they artificially jack up the price and the rarity of diamonds so that they can sell them for an exorbitant amount. So
I mean, it makes sense, right? If you have
crazy, they are not worth the amount that people pay for them.
right? But because they're not so readily accessible, society pays what the price is. One thing I've seen enough Spike Lee films to now make this assertion, but I really hate the fact that he makes movies that the soundtrack is so prevalent in every fucking scene. And it's in it was in He Got Game. I mean, the soundtrack in that film, it was just like, oh my God. Every single scene had this orchestra playing in it. And here it's no different other than it's an actual soundtrack. It's like, fucking Gotham music or whatever. But like the procedural drama music. And it's in every single scene in this film. And I wish Spike Lee would make films where he just let scenes kind of simmer and it didn't have this pressing soundtrack to them. I don't know, that's my opinion, but I just feel like of the films that I've seen him of his, that's something that he does, and I kind of wish he didn't, because there's the scene with Clive Owen and the little boy in the vault, and he's playing the PSP. And
I love that stupid game they made up. It's clearly based on GTA.
Right.
But it is awesome. It goes further than GTA because you get out of the car, he shoots that guy, then he puts a grenade in his mouth.
But,
and I was like, damn, that game looks fun as hell.
And Clive Owen is having this kind of fatherly conversation and with this little kid, and the kid's eating piece of pizza, and you see kind of the human element to Clive Owen's character, and that's all it's meant to do, is show that he is he does have a conscience, and he does he is a person that you can have a conversation with. And but this music is playing and over their conversation, I'm just like, oh, fuck, we didn't need that. And that's how it is throughout the entire film. And that's one of my biggest gripes with Spike Lee films, is that the soundtrack just beats you over the head, and it doesn't need to.
Funny that you didn't have the same criticism of that piece of shit movie Uncut Gems, but because that's what that movie did. Anyway,
5 years later. Yeah. But anyways, I mean, what did you think about the ending of this film?
I think the ending's cool. He's in the building still. He never left. I think that's genius.
Well, it's a shitty job by the police, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, we could get into the police corner here for sure, but as far as I mean, if you go into the room, how would you, as a police officer, know to detect that there's a false wall?
So one, the FBI is coming in there. FBI kind of takes point on most bank robberies across the country. And FBI is coming in there, and they have a standard of what they do. And most police departments do, too. I mean, there's just a standard operating procedure for how you handle certain crimes. And that bank's probably not getting reopened as quickly as it does. Or if it gets reopened, they're probably not getting access to the certain parts of that bank where, they dug a hole in the ground. In I guess it was the same room. And
I think that's his poop hole. They even say it. That's a pretty good toilet.
And it just like you would move like because once you go in there and you're like, wait a minute, there's nothing missing. Why were they in here so long? Then you start to like question, all right, what's different? Like, what could be different about this room? Why would they have spent so much time in this room and not take anything and nothing is out of place? And so then you start looking at different methods of maybe we remove all of the furniture that's in that room, shelving and everything else.
Yeah.
And then we discover, oh, hey, there's a weird marking on this wall. Oh, shit, it's a false wall. I just feel like that was kind of glossed over, and the policing in this film is not great. But I mean, that could be Spike Lee just saying the NYPD sucks, but I don't know. But it's just I feel like that was just kind of glossed over for plot purposes.
Yeah. Okay. I thought it was cool.
I mean, it is cool. I mean, because the start of the film, we think he's in like a jail cell or some shit.
Yeah.
And he even makes reference to being in a cell. And, by the end of the film, we realize, oh, it's him in this, like, fake wall space.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the idea is cool. I don't know if the execution of the idea was as good as it should have been.
Okay. Because I'm watching this, I'm like, this is a pretty good heist movie for me. Like, I still really enjoy it. And I think of it too, even though it's not as complex of a heist as Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
It's still a cool heist.
Yeah.
With some cool ideas. The characters aren't as cool. Like, obviously, Ocean's 11's way the hell better, but I still enjoyed the heist portion of this.
All right. So, do you recommend this one?
Yeah, I do. I think it's still good. I think there's still interesting characters, and Denzel's doing his Denzel thing, and I still think it's a good movie. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't see. Like, I do think it's a good movie. It's entertaining for sure. It's because of the actors that portraying the main characters here. Yeah, why not? I'll recommend it as well.
You don't have to.
I just feel like of the ones we've recommended this year, this is probably at the lower end.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
But
I still like it. I still think anyone who wants to watch a bank robbery movie, I think this is a good one.
Oh, yeah, for as a genre film of like bank heist, yes, this is a film that introduces new ideas and subverts the expectation of what's going to happen. Absolutely.
They even mentioned the film Dog Day Afternoon in it. Have you ever seen that? Of course not. It's old as hell.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you though?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty good. Al Pacino.
Al Pacino. Good old Al. Jeff, what are we watching next week?
So I had a lot to work with, and I had several films picked out, but I've landed on 2 Denzel films.
Okay.
One I've seen and love, and one I haven't seen and is a huge blind spot.
You got to go with the blind spot.
Just here's the problem. Has anyone ever spoiled a twist for you before you got a chance to see a movie?
Yeah.
And did you still keep yourself from going to watch it? Because it's like, what's the point? I know the twist.
I mean, not to the point where I didn't want to watch it, but it kind of disappointed my my feeling towards the film is because like, oh shit, I know what happens. And
Yeah, like The Sixth Sense, someone spoiled it for me, and I've gone and I've watched The Sixth Sense, obviously, and I love it. It's a great movie. But the movie we're gonna watch next week, someone spoiled the twist, which is why I never went to watch it, which sucks. But it's also like one of Denzel's top 3, like people's favorite Denzel movies.
okay.
It's from 2001. It runs for 2 hours and 2 minutes. It's directed by Antoine Fuqua, who directed The Equalizer, which is the film I've seen and love.
Yes.
And wanted to watch. It stars Ethan Hawke.
Yes.
Along with Denzel Washington. So we're gonna watch Training Day.
Yes. it might be Denzel's best film ever. It might. And
that's what people say, you know.
He's so good in that fucking movie, and it's been a long time since I've seen it too.
And you have a 1 degree of separation if you wanted to. Have you seen Equalizer?
I've seen Equalizer, yeah.
Oh, I love The Equalizer. It's so good.
The Equalizer franchise is really good. 2 and 3.
Yeah, I just like movies where the good guy protects the innocent from the bad guys. Like it's like my favorite thing.
Yeah.
In a movie, and that's what The Equalizer is in its purest form, and I love it for it.
So when I was in high school, back in the early 2000s when this movie came out, I remember having the soundtrack and it being such a good soundtrack, Training Day soundtrack.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just awesome. And like, it's been a while since I've seen it, so I'm really excited to watch it again. But like, man, Denzel is so good. I mean, he won an Academy Award for his performance here, but
yeah,
I just like so good. Like, I mean, for me, his performance in Training Day is maybe a top 5 acting performance, in my opinion. I mean,
yeah,
it's just, and you've never seen it.
Nope.
That's crazy.
There's someone ruined the twist, and I was just like, okay, well,
there's not.
Why bother?
I don't know.
No, and
there's not really a twist. I mean,
well, people made it out to be one.
He's
right. So I've never seen the film.
He's not a nice guy in the film.
Right. But it was just like, why bother? You know, and obviously a film like Sixth Sense is still good even if you know the twist.
Because you can go watch it with that lens.
Right. And it just kind of, but it was still, you know, why I didn't watch it. So
okay, well,
I'm looking forward to getting it off of my blind spot radar.
Yeah. No, I think you'll come away going, damn, I should have watched it sooner.
For sure. And I know that.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that that's not going to be the case.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, what you can do is hit the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube, so you don't miss any future content right here on the channel. And if you want to follow the podcast on all your favorite social media platforms, we're at Movie Draft House. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, right here on YouTube. So give us a like, follow, and subscribe. Jeff, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on my other 2 podcasts, Chronologically, where we're going through the films of Quentin Tarantino right now, and then my other podcast called All Things Being Sequel, where we're looking at long-running series, and we're currently getting near the end of our series on the Leprechaun film. So check both of those out.
Yeah. Jeff, any last words?
Nah.
Say Chiwetel Ejiofor for his name 5 times fast.
5 times fast. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to butcher his name.